In this video, we're going to show you how to create new dimension styles. So right here, I have the same picture as I had in the previous video, and I'm going to copy it. So I'm just going to put a box around it to copy it, and I'll pick it here, and I'll put it over here. I'll make 2 copies. I'll put one maybe down here. Okay, now I'm going to scale this. So I'm going to scale this by 2. Okay, so this is 2 times bigger. So this initially was 1:1. I didn't say it, but I did use the border initially, and I made this a scale of 1:1. So I'll put that scale over here. This scale over here now. Since I scaled the border by 2 and everything in the border by 2, it's 1 to 2. Similarly, I can scale this one by 4. So typically you draw your drawing first, then you scale the border around your drawing. Here I've actually scaled the actual picture by that amount. Now in each of these, let's add some dimensions. So let's see what happens. So over here, I come in here, I add the 1 dimension over here. I'm going to add the 2nd dimension over here. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing over here on this one. I add this dimension, and I add that dimension. Now, when you print this, this is going to become too small and maybe difficult to read. This writing here should be the same size as the writing in the border. So when you print this out, it should be the right size. But when you start getting to sizes even bigger, even as big as this, and you add your 2 dimensions, so I add the dimension here, this is going to print out way too small when I do the 1:4 here. So this was scaled by 4, so I'll put the scale of 1:4 here. So scale of 1:4 right in here. I just double clicked on the border when it was highlighted. Okay. Oh, not 1:2, 1:4. Let's fix that. Easy fix. You click here. You just double click on the border, and then you just type. You click on these different items, and you add the scale there. Now, how do I make it bigger? So I go over here, and in the last video, we went over here, and I go modify, just like in the last video. And you go, okay, so you go to fit, and you go 2 here. You go, okay, close. And you're like, okay, now it's way too big for this border. The right size for that border, and too small for this border here. So what do you do then? You have a choice. You can either erase these 2 and save it as separate, but if you want to keep all 3, what you could do is you can create a new dimension style. So you go here, and you can do new. So as opposed to modify, you can do new. Now you pick it. Maybe this one will be scale 4. Okay, we'll continue. So scale 4, you can pick any name you like. Okay, so fit here, I'm going to make this one 4. Okay, I'll create another one. I'll go new. Scale 2. Okay, I'll continue. I'll make this one 2. I'll go under the fit. I make it 2. Okay, and then I'll make another one. New, scale 1. Again, I'll continue. Under the fit, I'll make it 1. Okay, now I'm going to redimension all this. I'm just going to erase the dimensions I have. And there is another way to do it besides erasing these dimensions. But I'll erase the dimensions I have, and I'll redimension it using the dimension style. So over here, you can switch. So beside this, you can switch to scale 1, scale 2, or scale 4. So I'll start with scale 1, and I'll do the dimensions here in scale 1. Okay, just click, and they're all the right size. I'll do all 3 dimensions, including the diameter dimension, which is in the center of that block. And as you can see, they're all this number, or the size of this number corresponds to the size of the 1:1, and the writing that would go into here. Now I go over here. This is scale 2. So I go over here. Whoops, I don't pick that. I just go to the arrow, and I pick scale 2. I can start off with this dimension. And now this dimension is bigger than the one over here. At the same time, this dimension is the same size as there. Okay. And I click over here to get the 8, and I click over there and they're the right size. Finally, I'll do the last one. So I'll go here and I'll do scale 4 here. So I'll click here, I'll pick scale 4, and now I'll dimension this one using the right scale. Now see, that writing's the same size as the writing in the bottom. So again, I'll add this over here. Okay, and I'll add the diameter dimension right here. Okay, you notice the writing, this writing and the numbers here are the same height as that. Now let's say I want to switch this to scale 1. I can just click on the dimensions. I can go over here and I can switch them to scale 1, and now they're too small. If you notice, see, they're way too small. If you were to print that, it's way too small and the arrows are way too small. So I can just highlight those. I can just click on each of those and I can switch it back to scale 4. Okay, now we've got scale 4. Now let's say I wanted to add the in symbol to this one. I wanted to add in symbols to this one. So I can go over here. I can pick, not here, I go here, right there to the editing. So again, let me show you. So I go here to where I can edit these things. So I go right there. I pick scale 2. I modify it. Okay, and then I can go to the primary units here and I can add an in symbol. Then go OK. And I can close. And look, all the dimensions get the extra in symbol at the end. Okay, let's say on this particular one, I want to add millimeters. So I'll go here. This was scale 1 to 1. Then whoops, go here. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to pick scale 1 to 1. I'm going to modify. Okay, modify that scale 1 to 1. Okay, we'll go to primary units. I have no decimals here. I will change the suffix to millimeters. So look, okay, close. So for this particular one, I've made it millimeters, and all the writing still matches down here. The final one, let's make a change on it too. Let's say I put architectural ticks here. Okay, so I can go over here. See what else I can change. I'll go to scale 4. I'll go click here, modify. I pick scale 4. I modify that scale. I go to symbols and I decide to change it to architectural ticks. Let's take a look at the primary units. Maybe we'll change something here as well. Let's put engineering. Let's see how that switches. We'll go OK, close. Okay, the engineering type gives you 1 foot 4 inches. Now 4.00 inches, and over here 1 foot 4 inches. Okay, and you can see there's architectural ticks as opposed to the arrows.